Gap insurance. What is it and do you need it? Okay, simply put, gap insurance is that difference between what you owe on a loan, such as your car loan or your car lease, and what its actual value is. Here's why gap insurance is important. When you drive the car off the lot, we've all heard they lose value instantly. To be more specific, in the first year, your car loses 20 to 30% of its value. In year 2 and 3, 15% of its value. And then after that, about 10% of its value. So as you can see, right off the bat is the biggest loss, the majority of loss in year 1. So if you drive a car off the lot that costs you $40,000, and if it loses 30% value, it's lost $12,000 in value. So let's just say that 6 months later, you get in a crash. Your car that you bought for $40,000 is now worth $12,000 less, $28,000. Well, you and I know you owe more than that on the loan. So if that car is hit and totaled, they'll give you what it's worth at that point, $28,000. But you still owe the balance of up to $40,000. Gap insurance covers that. So I hope that helps you understand gap insurance. Now, there are certain times and certain vehicles that hold their value a lot higher, and there's some that hold them a lot lower. And this gets into who should have gap insurance and the whys. So first of all, there are vehicle makes and models like the Toyotas and the Hondas that hold their value the highest of any on the road. There are other vehicles, the luxury sedans like some of the BMWs, the Audis, some electric cars due to the batteries and the improvements in technology. Those cars, for example, lose a lot more value right off of the bat. And even some of the fancier cars you wouldn't think, like Jaguars and Maseratis, we see massive loss of value when they leave the lot. To get this gap coverage only costs about an extra $5 to $15 a month, so it's not much, and it will cover that difference that you need to cover if that crash should happen when the value of your car is worth less than what you owe on the car. Now, here's the people who should have it. If you made a small down payment, or even no down payment, you went in on one of those special deals, that means you have a high value on your loan still, and if the car's damaged, you're gonna owe money. If you owe more than what your car is worth right off of the bat, that's trouble. The second type of person that should have gap insurance, those who have done long-term financing. Typically, if you financed your vehicle for 5 years or longer, sometimes maybe even longer than 3 years, so in that 4-year mark, you should have gap insurance. The reason is you're paying down that principal slower. Your balance is dropping slower, so your car is not worth as much. The third type of person who should have gap insurance is any time of asset or depreciation schedule, loss of value quickly, like a luxury automobile, as I mentioned, electric automobiles, new vehicles, boats, RVs. Another thing that drives down value of your asset is frequent use. If you drive your car a lot of miles, the value drops faster. Vehicle leases are also big ones. People who have vehicle leases should absolutely have gap insurance because the loss of value in that vehicle is very fast early on, and the vehicle is worth less than what's owed on it. So again, to reiterate, if you have a car that is one of these that depreciates quickly, a luxury car, if you have a car that you put very little down on or no down payment, if you have the toys, boats, RVs, these are classes of assets that lose value quickly the minute you leave the lot. And they're not going to be worth as much as what you paid. And that gap needs to be covered by gap insurance, $5 to $15 a month. Those are the people that should have it. I hope this helps. I know it's tough to follow these sometimes like this, but it's so important. And we see it all the time here at Ramos Law. If you face something like this, please contact us. We're here to help.